How would you help someone or teach someone how to self-regulate?
Okay. First thing is, I just want to acknowledge that as many people as there are in the world, there are probably different flavors and ways to best self regulate. And even in, some of the main areas or ways I've heard that people self regulate, for example, just like physiological nervous system regulation or types of meditation practices, or like you name it. I don't feel like an expert in any particular practice. That's not the angle I would come from. For me, even in the term self regulation, I think what happens to me a lot when I'm unregulated and I'm trying to become regulated is I try to look outside in the world around me and fix the problems so I can feel better, so I can feel self regulated. But I don't think that's the best way. Sure, sometimes I feel some temporary alleviation of anxiety by like completing a project or fixing something outside of me. But the key for me, and I suspect for a lot of people, is to turn that outward gaze that's out there scanning the world, turn it actually towards yourself. For me, in my experience, it can be really scary to take my attention away from the world or problems or people around me and give myself my entire focus. But that's what's really necessary. It's like self regulation. You can't fix yourself by trying to do something out in the world, even when it seems like you can. So, I think the only thing that feels universal here, again, I'm not an expert in any practices, but the only thing that feels universal that I would suspect applies to almost everyone is first take that gaze that's looking out at the world and turn it towards yourself as the first step. And once you're there, you can get curious about what you need. Like for me, sometimes it really is my body that needs my attention. Other times it's my heart, it's my emotions. Other times it's the thought patterns in my mind. But I would never know what needs attention while I'm focused on the outside world. That would be the first thing. Be brave enough to take the attention away from the world around you and give it entirely to yourself. And start with the question, even, what needs my attention right now inside of me? Not my homework, not my deadline, not my client. What needs attention inside of me? And go from there. I think that's a really good starting place.
Yeah. For me, it's actually when I'm in extended periods of time when my focus is outside of me, when my focus is on others, whether that be my family, my children, the never ending to do list, my clients, my students, my team, whatever it might be. When I am in extended periods of time where everything is outward and there isn't a good balance of inward, that in and of itself is what dysregulates me. And so turning inward, even the act of Googling, how do I regulate myself? Tips and tricks to help me regulate myself, regulation meditations, or whatever it might be. Even that in and of itself is me searching for something outside of myself to fix. It is only in turning inward, checking in with my body, checking in with my mind, checking in with my soul, checking in with myself, and asking myself the question, what is it that I need? And sometimes I don't immediately know the answer to it. So it just involves spending a little bit more time with myself to get really honest about what I need. And the answer to that question, it is so varied. Sometimes I need to look at something I have been neglecting or not looking at. Sometimes it means actually getting to work on something. Sometimes it means turning my laptop off and taking a mental health break. Sometimes it means getting out into nature. Sometimes it means hugging a tree. Sometimes it means getting my feet into the ground, like sandals off, shoes off, and like allowing my feet to touch the earth. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's meditation. Sometimes it's breath. It's different. I think what's useful is having some type of a toolkit to know about all these various things that you could draw on. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do I need? And listening to the answer for that.
Yeah. So I think this is such a powerful way to respond when you notice you're not regulated. But something you're really good at, I would like to be better at this. I'm really good at responding to myself like this when I notice I'm incredibly dysregulated. But you are really good at being proactive with mind resets to help you keep regulated so you don't fly off the deep end. Do you want to talk about your mind resets?
So I call them mind resets, but to me, these are very holistic resets. They involve mind, body, and soul. So even though I call them mind resets, it's more than just your mind. I have a toolkit of what I call mind reset practices. That includes journaling, meditating, getting out into nature, exercising. I mean, the list of mind reset practices are endless, and some are going to work for you, some are not going to work for you. So, my recommendation is to create a toolkit of mind reset practices that you can draw on and call on when you need it. So, being proactive with mind resets versus just being reactive is really, really, really helpful. In my schedule, I have proactively plugged in mind resets throughout my day. And I'm very, very, very intentional about this. And I've been doing it for years and years and years. I probably started to get really serious about mind resets when I became a mom because I realized all of a sudden, oh my goodness, time is no longer mine. As a mother, time is not my own anymore. Sleep is not my own anymore. And so I had to get really, really intentional and protective around the little pockets of mind resets that I could plug into my day proactively so that I wasn't in a dysregulated state all day long. Some of my proactive mind resets are every morning. My alarm goes off an hour and a half before my children get out of bed. When they were younger and getting up at 5:30 a.m., I would set my alarm for 4:30 in the morning.
You're incredible.
It might sound incredible, but it was survival. That's what it felt like to me. It was absolutely necessary to be the human I wanted to be in the world, to be the mother I wanted to be, and to just feel good in my body. And so that meant that I had to shift my bedtime to 8:30, so I was still getting a good amount of sleep, but I just had to shift my schedule up proactively so that I could get up at 4:30. So my morning, it's not 4:30 anymore. It's now shifted to a more manageable and realistic time of the day. But that pocket of time in the morning, I journal, I check in with how I'm feeling, I do some visioning. It is sacred time. That mind reset practice is sacred time. My default getting out of bed in the morning would be to start doing. Lunches need to be made for the day. House needs to be tidied. Meetings need to get done. Like my brain defaults to the to-do list of everything that needs to get done in a day. And my body's response to that to-do list is anxiety. I am more anxious and anxiety prone when I am in that state of constant doing. So, by plugging in a mind reset practice in the morning, I circumvent that very, very intentionally by starting my day, calming myself, checking in with myself, and really creating like a very sacred time for myself to reset so that I can start my day off centered. I can start my day off right. And what that does is 7 a.m. when everyone's up in the house and lunches need to be made and children need to get off for the day and all the things need to get done, I am starting the day from a calm place, from a place where I can do all those tasks clearly and calmly and effectively and efficiently. That is probably the most powerful mind reset practice I have in my day. And then there's a second mind reset practice that I proactively plug into my day, and it's a midday reset. That can take on different flavors, but usually it's a 20-minute meditation. And it's usually after lunch. It's a time where I can start to feel my mind slowly slipping out of alignment. I can start to feel my nervous system getting a little bit activated. The day's busy, things are happening, stimulus is coming at me, and I can start to feel a little bit of a shift. And so I've proactively plugged in a mind reset there so that I can reset myself before I get too dysregulated throughout my day. And so usually that looks like a meditation. If I can't meditate, it might look like a walk outside, or it might look like a little bit of journaling. It's something out of my normal routine to come back into alignment. That's what self regulation means to me. It's coming back into alignment with myself.
Yeah. So what's so interesting is not only do you say this, but I experience like this is what you actually do. I've watched you for years. Actually, oh, it's time for my afternoon meditation. This is actually something you live day in and day out. And I admire it. And there's so many times where I've thought like, I want to be better at this. But when I try, we're a little different. You work really well in a certain schedule. When I try to put things in my schedule to be proactive, it doesn't work as well for me. I find oftentimes whatever version of me was putting something in my schedule, like the version of me in that moment wants to do something else, And sometimes it even feels like in the moment, I'm like, oh, it's actually more empowering to do this. I like freedom in my schedule. However, there's something incredibly powerful about having this structure that serves your alignment. And the way that works best for me that I've been playing with having an actual structure, so I'm not just always reactive, is embedding a new order of operations. Very much like, do you remember in math? Where it's like, first you do the brackets, then you do the exponents, like the whole order of operations thing. I am trying to change my order of operations from, okay, first clean and finish the to dos, then relax and take care of myself, to first me, then the to dos. And I'm not perfect at that by any means, but I'm getting better and better. And I'm strengthening that muscle in those moments where instead of just put the laundry away, then I'll journal. In those moments, it's flipping it, using that muscle and going, oh, it feels like I should put the laundry away first, but I'm going to lean in and I'm going to journal first. And every time I make that choice, I make the muscle a little stronger and it makes me really resilient because, like I said, I'm not good at putting things in a schedule. I love the freedom of meeting the moment, but I always want to meet the moment in the most powerful way. So I choose myself first.
I love that.
I want to circle back to what you said about when you do check in with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need? There is such a variety of answers, even within you. Like the answer is different. And that's true for me. That's another thing that I am strangely bad at predicting for myself is like knowing exactly what I'm going to need in advance. When I check in, sometimes it's absolutely my body that needs something. My body needs healthy food, or my body needs water, or, sometimes I need to journal. Sometimes I need to breathe fresh air and feel sun on my skin. So I guess I just want to say stay open to, I don't know, whatever random little thing.
Yeah, and listen,
Yeah.
even if it feels so silly and small.
Yeah.
Like, I wanna go hug a tree. I often get that one. I often feel like I just wanna commune with nature. I just wanna hug a tree. And that's just my body saying, I just wanna feel grounded. So get out there, go hug a tree.
Yeah. Any other random ones that you've like never?
I wanna scream.
Oh,
I wanna get this energy out of my body.
yeah.
Go scream in a pillow. If I have a house full of people, I'll just get in my car, go for a little drive around the block. I'll just scream.
Yeah. You're reminding me of this just happened yesterday. My daughter keeps one of her teachers had them keep a journal all year. When they had free time, they could either read a book or they could journal with their free time in that class. And I thought, oh, that's fantastic. What great little habits. She brought home her journal and she said, oh, I hope no one ever reads this. I'd get in so much trouble. And I said, like, why? It's your journal. You can't get in trouble for what you write in there. And she said, I think you might be mad if you read one entry. And I was like, no. And she goes, do you want to read it? I said, do you want me to read it? She's like, yeah. I don't know. I think she really wanted to see like what would my response be. And so I read this journal entry that said why I hate school. And she unleashed every drop of her fury about the restrictions of school and the unfairness of the power dynamics and teachers in a bad mood. She used bad words and said mean things. She just unleashed her fury. And I read it and I just felt like so proud and I felt so happy. And I said, why would I be mad at you? Like, I am so proud at you. And hope you keep doing this when you have rage and anger and you want to say bad words and you want to say you hate someone and you're writing down all the angry words you want to say to somebody. And it's all here in your journal. I hope you keep doing this forever. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. I think about all of the words we wish we could say, but shove down, all of the impulses we restrain, all of the desires and freedoms that don't get enough space. And to actually have somewhere to put them is so powerful.
These are all healthy, natural human feelings and such a healthy way to express them. If we're not expressing them in some way, we'll blow in another way. So the fact that she's wise enough to know to put that on paper and get it all out, if she wasn't doing that, imagine how that could express. Like the pressure cooker has built and it's just blown over. It could be expressed in a way that could be damaging or get her in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, what a healthy way to release what's inside of you. Yeah. That should be taught in our schools.
Wholeheartedly agree.